Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dark Descent into Horror podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts. I am Amanda from AGP, and with me is
The other guy. Me, yeah.
Fuel the Hatred.
Title
Yay.
below. The avatar right there. See, there it is.
Your enthusiasm is still overwhelming, and people are going to just. If you ever show any enthusiasm, I swear people are going to fall over dead.
Okay, well, it's horror for you. They're dead.
As you can see from my avatar that I chose today and by my name, today we are finishing off our celebrating of Star Wars Week. And today we're going to look at the scariest creatures and scenes within the Star Wars universe. And this is not just limited to the movies. Some of this stuff is we picked a couple of things from The Mandalorian and from Star Wars The Clone Wars. Well, I did because he didn't watch Star Wars The Clone Wars. Shame on him.
Yes, shame on me. Terrible business.
Shame on you! Shame! Shame!
No shame. Yeah, moving
on. Because, I mean, there were a couple of creepy scenes in Star Wars, especially when I was little and watching it. I was like, this is kind of creepy, or that creature's really scary. And Fuel probably just looked at the creatures and went, can I have it as a pet?
I don't know. I was kind of hungry. Probably eat it.
No, Fuel, we're not eating Star Wars creatures. That's a different podcast altogether.
It ruined my fun, of course.
Actually, that might actually be a very interesting discussion.
What, eating them instead of chips?
The best Star Wars creatures to eat.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that'd be as horrifying as what you're thinking it is, but we'll see.
It could be. It could be. I mean, I don't know if it'd be, I don't know, funny or scary, but
You drew straight to funny, so of course, obviously, it wasn't going to be scary.
No. But I mean, like, think about it. Would a Wookiee steak be chewy?
That's what you get when you have too much enthusiasm.
Shut up. Shut up. Just because you didn't come up with it doesn't mean that. Well, I didn't even come up with it. I read it somewhere a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But just because you didn't say the joke doesn't mean that it still isn't funny.
I don't think it'd be funny if I said it anyway.
So my question for you is this: from Star Wars, I know you've seen the original trilogy. Have you ever seen any of the other ones?
Yes.
Expand.
The prequels.
That is probably very terrifying. The entire experience of those. Sorry, I don't like the prequels. I don't. They don't even get. They're underrated. They cannot like me. Let's put it this way: I'm that Star Wars fan. You know, I may have some of the toys, but I don't own the prequels in the movies. The only Star Wars movies that I own to date are Star Wars Rogue One, the original trilogy on VHS, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. I don't care for any of the other Star Wars movies, so I don't own them.
That's awesome.
Thanks. Way to go, buddy.
Yes. Like
Anyway, so like I said, we're going to look at some of the creatures in the Star Wars universe. We have some clips for you. We have some photos for you. They're not ranked in any order. I just went things that made me go, no. And even Fuel said, even though he wasn't scared of them, they are kind of scary. So,
yeah, if the interpretation is there. I mean, there's one in particular that you could probably switch out with Jason Voorhees, and it would probably still work.
So without further ado, we're going to go to our very first creature. This one, a lot of you, it may remind you of the original Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And that would be the Geonosian brainworm.
Yep, the nose flute.
So basically what these are is they're a species of a parasitic worm from the planet Geonosis. If you don't remember Geonosis, that's the planet with all the little bug guys from Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, you know,
the guys that fly.
That Meta doesn't like. Yeah.
They're actually capable of entering the body of a host and taking control of it and have the potential to control entire societies. If you watch the Clone Wars show, this is during between the Galactic Republic and the Confederacy of the Independent Systems. The Geonosian Queen, Karina the Great, actually used the brainworms to control a host of undead Geonosians. It was actually a really creepy episode because, like, zombies in Star Wars, like, we don't need zombies in Star Wars. We really didn't.
Yeah, we do.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. After the Republic force, what got really scary was after they had defeated it and figured out what was going on, they defeated Karina and her minions, but one of the brainworms actually was able to get a hold of this guy here, Scythe, and used him to infect a bunch of other clones within the Tango Company, as well as one of the Padawans, the Barish Ofi, I think is how you pronounce her name. And during this, Ahsoka Tano was actually able to finally prevent the infection from spreading any further by using an extreme low temperatures to combat the worms. So the only way that you could defeat them, other than killing the host, was to actually make the temperatures cold. And when you make the bodies really cold, the worms escaped out of the bodies. And for me, the scene was just completely creepy because every time I saw it, I remembered how freaked out I got the very first time I saw Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, with the earworm thing. Yeah. I don't like throwing up at things coming out of my nose. I don't want things going up my nose or in my ear. No.
So the first thing you pick is the nose flute. Okay.
Because it's ew. It's gross.
Gross isn't the same as scary, but zombies, on the other hand.
It is scary. Having something go through your nose, that's terrifying.
Well, I mean, if it's a bullet, you might not know afterwards anyway.
I mean, like the entire time I'm watching this scene, I'm totally freaked out because, like, I remember one time throwing up and a whole entire mushroom came out of my nose.
Well, then something is wrong with your sinus. Seriously.
And that didn't feel good. And that was coming out. I don't want in.
No, I just had a thought. Okay, I'm gonna have to let your mother know that if you end up going before her, that you have to be mummified. Okay, just so we can cram that shit up your nose and rip your brain out.
Okay, well, first off, I'll already be dead, unless you get one of these things, and then it can reanimate me.
We can always change it to you being alive if we can get some legal action on it.
No, even though I will be honest, I do.
Some way that'll allow it to happen.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Mummification actually kind of has me kind of interested, but that means that you guys have to build me a tomb, and all of my stuff has to be buried with me.
No, we don't.
Yes. If I'm getting mummified, I'm getting mummified right. I want my pyramid, and I want all of my stuff to go with me. I'm taking it with me.
You can take the stuff, but I'm going to put it in a caravan, and that's it. All right, that's all you get.
No,
maybe a freak box.
I want a big galactic awesome temple. Blah. And hundreds of millions of thousands of years later, they'll uncover me and think that I was like the greatest, most important person in the world because of all my stuff.
In a fridge box? No, I don't think so. They're going to think you were a freaking hobo that lost at a garage sale.
You ruined everything. You suck. You evil man. You.
Anyway, so the nose flute.
To me, that was actually very creepy with his Star Wars. It really was.
Oh, see, the only thing that creeped me out was that animation. So
This here is Dinoga. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this scene from the original Star Wars movie, but this is the little creepy eyeball thing that is in the trash compactor with Luke, Han, and Leia that actually drags Luke under the water.
why the fucking hell it was on the Death Star is anyone's guess.
Because it was?
Yeah, very good excuse.
Okay. So, what these guys are is, oh my god, stop. They're not just an eyeball, first and foremost. If you take a look, that's actually the full body of it.
So I put to the question to you again: how and why was in the trash compactor of the Death Star?
The reason why is because they actually like feeding on organic waste. And
but how much of that waste was organic?
okay,
I don't even think that it was supposed to go in there.
so these guys are originally from the planet Vodron, and what they do is to be able to migrate, they actually stow away aboard garbage ships in their microscopic lava forms, and could be commonly found in trash compactors, garbage pits, and sewers across the entire galaxy, living off of any pre-sent organic matter. They're basically scavengers, and they only pose a threat to living creatures when starving or threatened. So obviously, this one was starving, which is why it went after Luke.
Or because it really had no other options. There was what food was supposed to be in there. Like I said, they weren't even supposed to be in there. They just went, "Hey, fuck, it's an escape route," and went in.
Now, for me, these creatures they were really creepy, and they even got more creepier because originally I thought that's all it was like a tentacle and an eyeball. I never knew it was this huge, massive thing underneath the water.
Well, considering the fact that the water level in that fucking compactor wasn't exactly that high, you'll probably find it wasn't as big as all of that. That just might be the mature state, but still.
Right. Well, like I said, they stow away in their larva form. So this thing's growing. So it probably wasn't full size.
That's what I'm saying. But anyway, so now we need to get yourself a fucking an episode of a show. You need to throw in the sewer scene and the people above it that are getting terrorized by the fucking tentacles. The motherfucker that's going to go down there and kill this fucking thing.
Now, what's really interesting about these things is they were actually first discovered by the Hutts prior to the formation of the Galactic Republic. These guys do have their own natural form of camouflage to avoid large predators off of their planet. When they're unfed, their bodies actually can become transparent, and they can actually change to reflect the color of the food that they have eaten once they've eaten. So they actually have a really great defense mechanism because they're not supposed to be really that big. They do just like here, how we have nuisance creatures in water, they were considered to be a nuisance by nesting in bottles of water. Let's try bodies of water. Sewage systems and any other concentrations of dirty, appalling liquid that they could locate. Even the smaller ones and the babies had found their ways into toilets and have been known to crawl out of them.
Oh, so very much like that mimic picture I found yesterday. Okay.
See, you went with that, and now I'm thinking of that alien. What is it from Dreamcatchers? The poop monster.
No. If it's coming out of the toilet, it's got to be the I'm trying to remember what the hell it was called. It was a giant fucking squid or octopus-like creature that attacks a boat. It's called Deep Rising. Basically, the entire ship gets infested with tentacles, and one of them basically rips a woman through the shitter. So just think of that. And everything works out.
And for those of you wondering, did this thing die on the Death Star? The one in the movie did, but not because of the trash compactor. It actually died when the Death Star blew up.
From the sewers.
Well, actually, they actually have a way, kind of like how rats can chew through metals and stuff. They could do the same thing, and it actually was able to burrow into the wall and stay safe during the compactor, which is how it was able to live there. But, of course, when the Death Star was blown up, it went boom.
Oh, yeah. Can't escape the explosion. It's not something like it can move through space.
And believe it or not, these things are also a delicacy. Because they could be found in the sewers of Coruscant and many other locations across the galaxy. Their flesh is used to make Diagon pie, and their spleens are used to make the process of the Diagon tea, a beverage notably favored by Admiral Porus Tonith from the Galactic Empire.
Because they're found in sewers, they are used for food and or beverage. That's a really fucking good idea.
Doesn't it make you thirsty and hungry looking at that?
No, it does not.
And knowing where they live?
All I see is more calamari.
So, yeah, that was one of the first creatures. It didn't initially scare me. It was more of an ew creature, but the more I learned about it, the scarier and the creepier it actually got. It's like,
Because you check your toilet every time you go now.
I do that anyway. Dude, have you ever had a rat or a snake come out of your toilet? I have.
I live in the country where there's spiders that infest them. And you're worried about snakes and rats, okay?
I need a country that doesn't have spiders, thank you.
Yeah, it's called the moon. Off you go.
The moon! Alright. Not that. That's not supposed to be there. Hold on. My bad. All right. The next one.
The evil brow and the red eyes.
Shut up. All right. The next one is the space slug or the exogorth. We find it in Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. These things are associated with. Yeah, these things are associated with the Minarchs. Don't like those things. This is the thing that, even though you barely get to see it, I thought it'd be really cool to show off exactly how big it is.
It's a whale.
It's a giant space slug.
It's a fucking whale. Look at that body.
It's a whale of a tail. So if you really think, I mean, like, they only got to, like, this part of it. You know what? Yeah. Yeah, it's a space tremor. But that scene was actually quite creepy. I mean, it really was. And if you don't believe me, I actually have a video of it.
Oh, that's right. We have to add our own sound. All right, start narration now.
So this is the scene from The Empire Strikes Back. Leia's hearing a noise while she's in the Millennium Falcon because they're hiding from the Empire on an asteroid. And she goes to check out what it is.
Thanks for the spoilers.
And it's a Minarch.
It's fuzzy bats.
And they start attacking after they go to inspect them. And Chewie takes a shot, and the cave starts moving. And this is kind of tense. Like, the look on Han's face, I'm just going to shoot the floor. Oh my god. I also love this scene. Here, I'm going to help you up, but you get into the ship yourself, lady.
Yes, the scariest part here was about...
This is not a cave, sweetheart! I know that line.
No. Actually, they were talking about how this is discussed in the committee, actually, you know.
I was just like, the cave is collapsing. No, not really.
Yeah, since when does cave have teeth? I mean, come on. I did not see that.
This is no cave, sweetheart. And no.
Oh man, I'll never get a spaceship. Just order it. It's Chinese. Yeah.
Family Guy. Cute.
No, that was Robot Chicken. But anyway.
Oh, was it Robot Chicken? One of the two.
There's two of them, and they're ordering Kung Pao chicken.
But yeah, it's kind of creepy to think that they were inside that. And to me, not only is this a scary creature of Star Wars, but that scene was quite terrifying, especially for me as a kid. If you really think about it, Empire came out in 1983. I was 4 years old. Right? No, I was 1. No, Empire came out in 1980. I'm sorry.
Came out in 1980, yes.
Yeah, so I was 1. Terrifying scene. Return came out in 1983 and I was 4. My dad took me to go see this as an infant.
Well, I mean, top parenting.
My dad used to let me watch Freddy Krueger at like 2 and 3. It's no big deal. But still. Space slugs? Scary. Very scary.
Well, that's only because Freddy Krueger laughed his ass off at everything. And he was a clown. He was awesome. Unless you hate going to the circus.
So, guys, next time you're in space, be careful if you go into a crater of an asteroid. You never know. There's going to be a space slug in it.
Also, probably take more than just a mask because, yeah, there's no atmosphere down there and you'd probably die.
Nah, that's not how space works.
Yeah, actually, it kind of is. I'm actually surprised because, considering the mouth was open the entire time, they would have been sucked out into the void. It's called the vacuum for a reason.
It is called sci-fi, and it can be whatever the hell we want it to be. Stop.
Oh, okay. Well, next we'll have to get into the whole matter of sound effects in space.
Oh, no, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. You're ruining the movie.
Shush.
Next one are the creepy ice spiders.
Yeah, man, his favorite.
I don't know how to pronounce this name. I haven't learned, but it's like Krykna. Krykna?
What?
Krykna.
It's Kryna.
Oh, wait.
I think the second K would be silent.
Says you.
Well, but then fine, it'd be the Krykna. Because it sounds retarded.
It is scary space spider, but I forgot to tell you a little bit about our little space slug. I'm sorry. I told you a little bit about everything else I'm supposed to tell you.
His dental hygiene methods
and for those of you who go, well, why are you calling it a space slug? Because according to Wikipedia, yes, for Star Wars nerds, we have Wikipedia. They're actually a sentient species that resides in the hollows of asteroids and who pride themselves on maintaining a pleasant ecosystem within their bodies.
Kind of like Romina, except, not.
So these things can reach full maturity at about 10 meters. And the way how they reproduce is they split into 2 smaller separate bodies. Kind of gross. If for some reason they're incapable of being able to reproduce, they just continue to grow uninterrupted, reaching, I think the largest they found within the Star Wars universe was 900 meters. And when they're that size, basically they can swallow starships whole, but they do house an entire ecosystem.
Yeah, so what you're saying is it's bats.
And the creatures that you saw, the Minox, they do eat those.
Yeah, well, they probably also clean their damn teeth while they're at it too. There's some bacteria.
The one, if I remember correctly, the one in Empire Strikes Back was only about 1 billion years old, so it was still like in teenager stage.
You know, no wonder he was slow and had to order out. Oh, I'll never get a spaceship, never.
Oh, would you believe the poor thing? But they're actually really cool creatures. They're, for the most part, they're just opportunistic feeders. So it's not like it actually goes after you unless like you're trying to get away from it. If you land in its mouth, it's gonna eat you.
Yay! Free food. Drive-in.
Because they're actually, believe it or not, they're actually very peaceful species, and they pride themselves in their ability to have their bodies become complete ecosystems that actually are home to countless species that live peacefully within their bodies.
Hey, what's that coming over there? Oh, stomach acid. Crap.
Now, the one in Empire Strikes Back, his name is Sayo, and he, unfortunately, one of the reasons why you don't see him with other space worms unless you see like a parody is because his parents looked down on him because he was only able to host Minox. It was the only creature. He wasn't able to develop a complete and entire ecosystem, which is kind of sad.
So he's the emo space worm. I see.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's the equivalent of the what was it, the college student that what was it, they graduated art class and then lived in their parents' basement forever. I get it.
Feel the hatred, everyone. Right there. He's right there.
Hey,
Now,
it's a good analogy, really.
in the video, we saw the Minox. Now, Minox actually do have a planet called Ord Minox. Just like you see in the Empire Strikes Back, they do chew on power cables and energy conductors of starships, and they actually have the ability to drain an entire entire ship's entire power supply. They reproduce also by splitting in two and growing new creatures from each halves. And they have the ability not only to live on a planet, but through the vacuum of space.
So it takes a lot to kill them. Unless you just shoot them.
Pretty much. Only a few varieties actually live on planets, though. They are mainly known to inhabit asteroid fields, thriving in the asteroids and in the gullets of the exogorths, or the space slugs, where they share its meals and are part of its internal ecosystem, even though exogorths hate having Minox aside of them, and normally they would get eaten.
So no one likes them either. Kind of fits.
And yes, Minox is another dish within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, but it's later and coming out of the fucking sewers.
When seasoned properly, they could be consumed, and a Minox roast is actually considered a delicacy.
Yes, so now we're the descendants to the cooking show.
Shut up. Star Wars the cookie show. Look, these things are creepy and scary, but you gotta know something about them. I can't just go space look scary. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, but you didn't point out how they can be turned into a dish.
You just have to season it properly. I'm sorry, I don't have the Star Wars cookbook next to me. The Star Wars Encyclopedia Britannica, yes. The Star Wars cookbook, no. It's
Oh.
not like I have a Minoc in my fucking fridge that I'm going to be preparing tonight.
I was talking about the space worm. Right? Try listening.
Well,
Spiders, yeah, your favorite dish.
so without having to really mention it, because I really shouldn't have to mention this, welcome to one of my greatest fears in all the world.
That's fine. You won't live in the snow for very long, so you ain't got to worry about them.
I don't like these things.
Yeah, you don't like the cold either, so you're not going to be anywhere near them. Bonus.
So the Kryna are predatory, spider-like creatures native to Atolum. They are resistant to blaster bolts. They're sensitive to negative emotions and are very difficult to tame with the Force.
Oh my god, I just thought of something.
What?
Okay, so there was an anime where there were these creatures that basically, could sense bad emotions. So a dude manages to escape with somebody on there, like he's carrying him around, he's, through this set of woods. And the reason why he doesn't get attacked is because he starts reciting a fucking poem in a really calm tone to keep his mind off negative thoughts so they don't kill him. So now, what we have to do here is to bypass the spiders. You can just sing a nice happy tune and you can dance the fuck out. Do a quick little two-step, get the fuck out.
Oh my god. All right. Now, a lot of you.
Emotions. Come on.
I know. Now, a lot of you guys, I was introduced to these things in in Star Wars Rebels. You guys are probably introduced to these things in The Mandalorian.
Or right now.
Or right now. Because that little shit ate everything.
Oh, God, that Muppet looks crap.
We've seen worse. We've seen worse.
I have seen worse. I just wish he got eaten.
You leave Baby Yoda alone. Or Grogu. Or the
him.
child. Or
Spiders
whatever
are
you
gonna
want. This scene. This scene is so.
I'm just looking at that and thinking, face huggers.
What did you do, you little shit?
He's doing the truffle shuffle. See, there you go. He doesn't have the, he doesn't have the leg height to just sort of dance his way out of there. It would have been fine. Quick, put him in the tank. Drown the little shit.
He'd eat all the eggs. No.
What if he drowns first?
Yeah, it's time to get dressed, sweetheart. Let's go. It's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go.
Here's a quick question. Why in the fucking hell is this thing hiding out in a cave filled with those? Like,
he didn't know they were in here. They crash landed in this episode here.
They crash landed, went into a cave filled with eggs, and went, "Oh yeah, this is a great place to hang out."
They actually didn't notice the eggs. The toad lady, if you look, she was bathing, trying to, because she keep her.
Yeah, and not too far away from your secret pool was a fuck ton of goddamn eggs.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying they were smart.
Goes, oh yeah, this is cool. We'll be fine here. Let's chill. Like, come on. You tell me you wouldn't have noticed that?
Oh, I would have noticed. I've seen too many horror movies. I would have noticed.
Yes. no, it's the last of my species. Let's go hang out in a cave with spiders. Oh no, the spiders, they're onto us.
But yeah, not only is their skin highly resistant to blasters, but even firing starship cannons, they're resistant. Their only vulnerable spot are their eyes.
Force eye gouge. It has to be a thing. We're going to do that.
They're just, They're also called the knobby white spider.
Okay.
And
Wait. Are they a delicacy too? Can we eat them? I mean, Grogu ate the fucking one out of the egg still.
well, you know what? You want to try it?
He doesn't exactly season things, okay? I'm talking like an actual dish. Did they cook the spiders too?
I don't know. I haven't.
Nope.
I don't know. I don't know. It's not something that I've read.
Fine.
Ugh. They're gross and they're creepy and the most terrifying thing on the face of the planet.
What? Planet Snow? Okay.
Well, they're not only in the snow; they're also in the desert.
Oh, great. So it's Planet Snow and Sand. I like it.
Their homeworld is Autolon, but they inhabit deserts, caves, and the snow.
Mm-hmm.
And their color will change. So if they're in like the desert, they'll still be whitish, but more with like a sand base to them. I know if my memory is if my memory serves me, I think that they were a concept that were supposed to be originally in Empire Strikes Back, but they ended up not appearing until Kevin J. Anderson's 1995 Star Wars Legend novel Darksaber and the illustrated Star Wars universe, which they were calling them the Spice Spider and the Knobby White Spider.
Did you say the Spice Spider?
Spice, like spicy.
Yes,
spices.
That's what I said. The Spice Spider.
Mm-hmm.
So they came from Dune. Okay.
But I do know that it was Ralph McQuarrie. What we got is now based off an artwork by Ralph McQuarrie of Dagobah Lifeform called. So they're supposed to. So I guess they call it. I thought they were. There's some history there, and I don't know the full history because I didn't even learn about these until I saw Star Wars Rebels, and they creeped me out then. And then, bam, here they are in the Mandalorian, and I'm just like, no, I can't, not spiders, not. Why did it out? Why are there spiders? No matter where I go, space, home, anywhere, there's spiders. Why spiders? Why is it always spiders? Spiders are gross. Spiders. No, sure I don't like spiders.
Okay.
And I'm sure you could probably eat these as people eat fucking tarantulas on this planet.
There we go. C3PO, the most annoying actor in there. Terrifying.
Yes. He's very terrifying, very much so.
See, there's his bounty in the background. He talked it to death.
All right. So some of you guys may know what this is. This is the crate dragon. Our first ever scene of it was this scene here from Star Wars A New Hope when you saw that its skeleton laying in the desert. And then thanks to the Mandalorian, we got the crate dragon. And this was these things are supposed to be extremely terrifying. And as always, because we're going with this one, I didn't do for scary scenes. I just no, why did you do that? Bad you.
Uh-huh.
I actually went ahead And where did he go? Hey, where'd my crate dragon go? Fuel, what did you do to it? There
Probably
it is.
laughed until it ran away.
So this is the scene from the Mandalorian with the crate dragon.
And as you can see, they're all running away.
I'm sorry, if I see a Tusken Raider run away, I'm running too. These guys are supposed to be badasses. Hell no.
Running away, they're shooting at it with spiky things. That's when you hear the thing from the radar going off. Worm sight. Oh well, shouldn't have stood there. Now you've been turned into mulch.
Oh,
Just staring
oh shit! It's in the mountain.
Oh look, more barf. Why is he just standing? Oh my god!
Would you stop?
He's just vomiting on everybody. Jesus Christ!
So, crate dragons, as terrifying as they are, people did hunt them because they actually have precious pearls found inside of their bodies. The crate dragon is a carnivorous reptilian species from Tatooine.
Of course, planet Sand.
Planet Sand.
Also known as June, Sasharakis, sandworms.
Now, there is a legend that once upon a time there was a crate dragon that had large wings. But due to their large size and ferocity, they are the apex predator of Tatooine. They can produce what is called crate venom, which helps the dragons as an acid in pre-digesting their food or being able to spit it.
Barf all over their opponents, like those guys right there.
And it dissolves any organic tissue that it comes in contact with. They eat a lot of Jawas and Tusken Raiders since they live out in the desert areas. And they sometimes will make their home in abandoned sarlacc pits.
Also, don't touch their spice.
They've actually been known to eat sarlaccs and take over their pits.
Jeez, and that was the worst thing that Jabba the Fat Hutt could think of. Seriously.
And and a lot of Tusken Raiders learned to be able to live with crate dragons since they're basically nomads. They would feed their banthas to them so they could continue living.
See, why didn't they just do this? Couldn't they just ride the dragons? Come on, they did it with sandworms. They can do it with these. Should be fine. That's a cat.
Can I help you? No. Oh, come on, Savick. Lieutenant Savick. Don't. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Out. No. Down. You'll do something.
Yeah,
Ready?
okay. Keep watching.
Ready? Ow, 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 ow. We are trimming those claws today. No, it is not pet play with me time. It is mommy's working time. Down. Oy vey. And no, I don't know if you can eat the crate dragon. It doesn't say anything about eating crate dragons. I've only known that people used to hunt them to get the pearls out of them. Before you ask. Because Phil likes to ask, can you eat it? Is it edible?
No, why not? I mean, it's food, isn't it? mean, after eating all that spice melange,
What's funny is I never originally envisioned this creature was this creature. Like I don't know, for
yeah, it
whatever
would have been
reason
a
I
baby
expected
one
something
probably.
else.
That's the little guy that escaped the oasis, found no food, and died.
Now here's one almost everybody should know.
Oh look, there's an extra arm. Or is that his tongue with your fingers?
No, that's Gamorrean guard's arm.
Yeah, it's a joke. Yes, I know what it is. It's green. He's brown.
It did it again! Stop! What is the matter with this thing?
Ah, damn it! That's what I was thinking of. The Fremen.
So, needless to say, that scene in Return of the Jedi with Luke and going into the Rancor pit.
Finding that guy with really nasty breath.
This entire thing here, like the reveal of the Rancor, man. Oh!
Beady eyes, especially back in the day when you couldn't actually see any of it.
Silly Jedi! Ho, 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 ho.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember back in the day the footage was that dark. You couldn't actually see the thing's face. Just those beady white eyes until it came into the light.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, they kept this dude in such a small cage. I mean, come on.
I mean, that's
I
just
also couldn't figure
terrifying.
out why the hell there's a door. Like, why would you separate one section from another section with a door? It's man.
No. But that was a very
Slow reveal.
that was a very terrifying scene. Especially, this one I know came out in 1983, so I was 4 years old. Scared the shit out of me. Just scared the shit out of me.
Okay,
And
you heard it here first.
look, just because you have never been scared a day in your life doesn't mean the rest of the world doesn't have terrifying moments.
Okay, that's fine by me.
Not to mention, this was one that you even picked.
Oh, because it was obvious.
Ah. So, you ready to learn a little bit about the Rancor?
Yeah, like, is that chain organic?
Oh, dear Lord.
Or is that just part of his, BDSM, get up that, he had to take off before he was revealed? No? Okay.
Well, here's one interesting fact, especially for those of you who know a little bit about Darth Maul and have seen the Clone Wars. You know that he's from a planet called Dathomir. So are the Rancors. Even though they are also present in Felucia, which is, for those who don't know which one Felucia is, if you remember when they execute Order 66, the Twi'lek on the really pretty planet, that's Felucia. So Rancors are also located there. They are actually, it isn't just Jabba's palace that uses them, because people look at them as mindless, violent reptilian carnivores. Many places actually go capture Rancors and use them as fighters across the galaxy.
But in other circles, they're known as the great philosophers and have gone on to do some great works that no one appreciates. Those poor bastards. Oh, okay.
And yes, Rancors can be both male and female.
Well, how else would they breed?
I don't know, split in two like the Minars of the space
Yeah,
slugs.
well, they're not exactly small, very bad things that, eat power cables and shit. As you can see, there's a green arm.
Yes. Now, one of the things you'll notice, like here, that is armor. They actually do have armored hide. And there are different species of rancors. You have jungle rancors. You have rage rancors, which are taller and have a very nasty temperament. Shadow rancors that are actually black and they like to destroy shit.
They don't sound all that different, really, if that's the case. Nasty temperament. Oh, these ones like blowing stuff up. Yeah.
A group of rancors is literally called a crash of rancors. It's a crash of rancors. Run.
Sounds diabolical.
They do have a social hierarchy where there's an alpha, kind of like elephant seals. A male alpha is dominant over all other rancors until he is defeated. And before their planet was raided, they actually used to be very benign creatures and were even used to be able to be domesticated by the witches of Dathomir. But then because of people coming to their planet, destroying their planet for the natural resources and stuff, they actually turned to the violent nature that you know. But some people have learned because there are people out there that try to save rancors from the fighting rings. People have learned that if you can get a rancor, especially when it's little and you're actually able to domesticate it, they're very loving creatures. Aww.
How horrifying.
This is my little rancor. His name's Fluffy.
Yeah, I can see the whole, Lucy scene happening from Pacific Rim. Oh, your breath stinks. Get your children under fucking control. No, don't you fucking eat me, you big bitch.
See, and you thought that Pacific Rim the Black wasn't going to be relevant. You just made it relevant.
I didn't say it wasn't going to be relevant. I just didn't see the point. But now it's funny because it's a reference. Okay, that's how it works.
The subspecies of the jungle rancor, which are the ones that you find on Felucia, actually lived in peaceful coexistence with the farmers there. Then, of course, you have the rise of the Galactic Empire. And that's when they started becoming creatures of mass destruction, basically. And if you actually have seen the Book of Boba Fett, you'll notice that Boba Fett does have a rancor of his own that he domesticated and he rides on it.
Well, he's riding around on those really bright, colorful scooters that the rest of them have. Cue Go-Go Power Rangers theme song. Zing.
And something that you may learn is if you put blinders on a rancor, they will imprint on the first human being that they see.
And eat the rest, I imagine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, isn't that fun?
Well, okay, so as much as the rancor scared me, I was very intrigued by it. So Return of the Jedi came out.
His arms and legs.
Shut up.
With armor and chains.
So I have. Come here, buddy. Christmas that year, I really wanted some Star Wars toys, and I wanted the Rancor monster. And instead, I got a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Terrifying.
Very terrifying, to say the least. And growing up, my dad was a garbage man. And a lot of the collectibles that I have nowadays actually came from people throwing toys away. And I was so upset that Christmas because I didn't get my Rancor. And then my dad found him in the trash.
Are you sure? They're not supposed to be in the trash. Those one-eyed tentacle monsters are meant to be in the trash. You got it wrong.
Rawr, 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 rawr. He's eating the original Leia from Star Wars.
Because of course he is.
Because of course he is. But he has a little button on his back, so you can.
Yes.
So as much as he terrified me, I still wanted one. Because I had like this great envision of how I wanted to recreate the scene when I was a kid.
With him eating Leia. Okay.
Well, she doesn't stand up on her own anymore, okay? It's the best place to put her in my Star Wars display. You know, most people have a curio cabinet where they place their china. I have a curio cabinet of nothing but Star Wars collectibles in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi. I'm a nerd. What do you want from me? Ah, the Sarlacc pit. Before
Right after the beak replacement.
and after. Ah, the Sarlacc pit.
And the weird squealing noises. Terrifying.
Where everybody thought Boba Fett was going to be doomed.
Well, he kind of was, because look what happened now.
Because in its belly, you will find a new definition of pain and suffering as you are slowly digested over 1,000 years. And in case you didn't know, yes, they're from Planet Sand, aka Tatooine.
Lots of sand.
Now, some interesting facts. Sarlaccs actually begin their lives as spores and are able to travel great distance. When a male and a female encounter another, the smaller male would be a parasite and feed off of the female, diminishing her size while increasing his own. Once the male reaches the female's original size, he would burst, releasing millions of spores into the air and atmosphere. A Sarlacc does not reach its full maturity till after 30,000 years. And then they will bury themselves nearly 100 meters below the surface, feeding on creatures and humanoids unfortunate enough to fall into their mouths. The victims of the Sarlacc are overcome with toxic fumes and would either die from suffocation, the acid, or both. But the stomach acid is really weak, so it takes quite a while, which is why they say a millennia, for a Sarlacc to completely devour you.
What a fun gig. You'd set up shop in there for all the other survivors that are clearly still down there waiting, having a party.
And of course, the most famous scene of this is during Return of the Jedi, when Jabba goes to feed Han and Luke and Chewie to the Sarlacc pit. And then we actually learn a little bit more about the Sarlacc pits when Boba Fett himself actually escapes the Sarlacc pit in the Book of Boba Fett, which everybody was looking forward to because, well...
Yes, everyone quitting.
And like I said, this is the original Sarlacc pit. And this is George Lucas after he decided that he was going to put a beak and extra tentacles in, saying that he never felt the creature seemed alive enough from the original film. So he redid this. And the sounds of the Sarlacc pit are actually alligator hisses and the sound of some of the crew's stomachs after eating pizza.
Charming business. Interesting, though, with the conception through spores and whatever else. Kind of reminds me of orcs.
Which, if you really want my opinion, the tentacles, I don't mind the tentacles. I probably would have gone without the beak thing. Maybe just a giant tongue would have looked cool. But I wonder, but maybe just the tentacles would have been fine. Either way, it's a pit. This works just as well for me. This just looks like this is where you're going to get sucked into. It just looks like a giant butthole.
With teeth.
With teeth.
Yes, this is going to be the sequel to that movie Teeth, where, for whatever reason, everybody was eating through their asshole. I mean, why not? Dumber things have existed.
Very true. But there's still what's really interesting about them is people still don't know if they want to call it a creature or if it's a plant due to the fact of the spores. Some people say that it's actually a carnivorous plant. Some people say that it's actually a creature. And they still haven't been able to diagnose which one it is yet.
I'd go with the plant, only because of that face. It looks like the Venus flytrap from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, and the way that they the fact that they live as spores and the way how they reproduce.
And the length of time it takes to fucking mature. It's like a damn tree.
So yeah, that's probably where I would go if I was leaning towards it, is their spores, their plants. So, but yeah, that is definitely one of the scariest creatures from Star Wars, in my opinion. I don't think that's how I would want to die.
Well, I wouldn't say scary, but a lot of people are afraid of holes.
What is that called? Like they like, well, not even just holes, but like the circles. Like, I know people who are afraid of the holes in Swiss cheese.
I was going for a joke here, but cheese holes, why not?
Hold on, what is that called? Tryphobia. Brings the feeling of disgust or fear when you see patterns with lots of holes. Honeycomb, sponges, Swiss cheese. See, it's an actual fear. Ugh.
Look at that.
Look at that. See, you learn something new every day. Next on the list is the
Wampa Dalpa.
Yeah, the Wampa. We'll just say that. Or the I can't say that word. Yeah, we'll just go with that. That works
look at
for
him.
me.
He's taking a crap. It's all that food. He's just scoffing it in there. And fuck.
Now, we did go ahead and we grabbed the scene from the original Star Wars. And I think what makes this so much better than the special edition is you don't see the Wampa straight off the bat. You just see this thing moving in the background.
Build up of this thing that's just coming for him, rather than, hey, look, it's a dude taking a dump.
Pretty much.
It's like, but one of those cases where less is more. I mean, originally it was a little odd that you don't actually see it after the arm gets sliced off, but
because you don't see it when it knocks out Luke at the beginning, and you just see it walking. And there's just
actually,
something about.
Kind of do actually see it at the beginning when it knocks.
Well, I mean, you get a
See its face,
a
and then, yeah, that's
flash.
it.
Like this whole scene is like this is all you see in this. In the special edition, you see the Wampa eating, Luke's looking at him. It gets all curious of what the noise is because now the Wampa can hear Luke using the Force and then goes after him, which never made any sense to me.
Yeah.
But Lucas got the Lucas, man. But the Wampa is a very terrifying creature. And that scene is actually quite terrifying in my opinion. Especially if you watch the original.
Goddamn Yetis and caves and shit.
And they do. They live in caves. They are from the planet Hoth. And they actually are advanced intelligence. They care greatly about their clans, which is really interesting because you only see the one, but you find out that they actually do. They live in a mass society. They, mother, father, kids, blah, 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 like a Bigfoot would. Obviously the Tauntauns. Well, I can't say the other word, okay? It's a word that I have a really hard time saying. But
Sasquatch?
No, the one that starts with an A.
Okay.
The snow monster, snow monster. That word. Which is just...
Just call it a Yeti.
It's called a snow Bigfoot.
It's called a Yeti, but okay.
And the reason why it does attack Luke originally is because it was after its main prey on the planet Hoth, which is the Tauntaun.
Because why not? It's the only thing that's alive there besides the goddamn snow beast. There's no giant snow worms floating around.
They are an ambush predator because obviously Tautauns can run quite fast compared to the Wampas, so they're ambush predators.
Very much so. Yes. Very much so. Yummy, yummy. Well, yeah, I mean, they got 2 legs, so they're going to be built for speed. Whereas this dude just looks like some shaggy asshole that lives out in a cave. Yeah. Surprise attack at worst. I don't think you smell it coming.
Ew. But yeah, for most people, the best way to describe a Wampa and a lot of their thing, they're basically the Star Wars universe version of a Yeti. That's literally where it came from.
The abdominal snowman.
But I also like the fact that they use this to explain some of the stuff that happened to Mark Hamill himself. A lot of people don't know that in the winter of 1997, Mark Hamill was actually in a very serious car accident. So he needed to have reconstructive facial surgery. So a lot of people believe that they did the Wampa attack on Skywalker to basically explain the change of Luke's face with all the scarring and everything, because when Mark Hamill got the reconstructive surgery on his face, some of his features had changed. Whether that was the reason they did it or it's not, it's still a great way to explain so many years later what happened and why Luke looks so different between the two films. Because that had to suck.
Yeah, also he was 3 years older.
Well, this doesn't take place right after.
Yeah. But he's 3 years older for the movie. So you're going to change a bit. You realize that the novelization of the film for the New Hope, he actually was supposed to be like 15 years old.
I thought they were 18, 19 for A New Hope.
I've got the trilogy novel. I'm pretty sure it was 15. Although, if you compare the two of them together, Leia looks so much older than him. It's not funny. Then again, it could be all that makeup.
It could be.
Which just goes to show you that
it is funny though that the novelization makes them that young, because they do. If you look at according to the Star Wars timeline, it takes place 19, 20 years after the death of Amidala, so they're supposed to be 19 going on 20 there.
Anyway, my point is, you look at Leia and you think that bitch is 15. No. And Hans is like getting a little rapey there. Oh yeah, you reckon she'd take a guy like me? Yeah.
Hey miss, how's it going? But still, regardless, creepy scene in Empire Strikes Back. Creepy creature. I mean, that thing's terrifying.
Okay.
Terrifying.
Look at the image, okay? The dude's just like, I'm trying to eat lunch. Okay, that isn't terrifying. The original was terrifying. The add-on thing was a bit, but at least you get to see his face properly in this. I don't know, just seeing the screeching face when it attacks a Tauntaun was probably bad enough.
Well, what's funny is they actually had a guy do a lot of those scenes, and then they cut them all because they wanted the suspense. And then Lucas is like, when he re-releases it, he's like, "Let's do it again. Let's put it all back in." And everybody's like, "Oy vey. No, we cut them out for a reason, man." But that skin would have sucked. It's made out of the original costume was made out of sheepskin.
This was made out of hemp. That shit's itchy.
So originally the costume made out of sheepskin, and the actor had to stand on stilts. And he ended the original actor who played the Wampa actually suffered from heat exhaustion. So they eventually just cut all the shots from the film. And then they did it with a puppet.
Work, and they just cut it out anyway. Good job.
Yep, pretty much.
Bastards.
Wampas. All right, our next creature is the Zillo Beast. Now, if you've never
seen dragon with tentacles.
The Zillo Beast is actually from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. It is it's not. Some people just call it the Beast. It's a reptilian species. And the Dungs from Malastare believe that this gargantuan creature to be extinct long time ago, and then they ended up finding one, being the last specimen alive during the the Galactic Republic, which is the one that you see here in this photo. And then great old Papa Palpatine wanted to keep it.
Yeah. Put a chair on that motherfucker and ride the count.
Just like the spice spiders or the ice spiders,
spice worms.
They have an indestructible hide.
Of course. Can't just shoot the damn thing. Shooting never works.
And so after they knocked it out, Palpatine ordered this creature back to Coruscant, where it rampaged through the city.
Oh, brilliant moves there by the guy in pajamas.
It's just, ugh. But it was very terrifying to watch this thing because this creature, it has 8 sharp spikes on its tail. It has a total of 3 arms and 2 back legs. And the third arm actually protrudes from its back. So it's got these 2 arms here, its 2 back legs, and then an arm that comes up over its head.
So it's got 2 tails then.
Really? Okay, so it has a head tail.
Or it's just one long dreadlock. Slap people with the back of its head.
They're very isolated creatures, and they only came together for breeding. And as soon as the breeding was done, they would separate. And as soon as the young could defend for itself, the parent would leave.
Yeah, I mean, why not? They probably whine a lot, like all children. So. GTFO.
But it was a very terrifying creature. And what, again, people would think, something like this, it's ignorant, it has no intelligence. But during when Palpatine is having the creature studied before it breaks loose, every time it sees Palpatine, it hisses at it. It growls at it. It snarls at it. It hated Palpatine. And the first thing it went after was Palpatine after it ended up getting after escape because it wanted to eat his ass.
Oh,
but the creature lives in a hole kind of like the Sarlacc pit and this gas. And if you leave it alone, it will leave you alone. But of course, no, they wanted to have to kill it, and this thing comes out. I mean, this thing beat up Jedi and took on.
It's a fucking giant. Of course, it's gonna beat on everything.
It's only 97 meters tall.
It's a fucking giant, and it's gonna beat the crap out of everything.
It's just a.
It's just gonna beat the shit out of everything, yes.
But for me, this is one of the most terrifying creatures in Star Wars. Always has been.
To live in holes filled with gas that is probably hallucinogenic. I wonder if it gets pissed off when people, interrupted sleep.
Now, with that, there is one scene. So we have 2 special creatures that we're going to hold off for the end. But there's still 2 more scenes that Fuel and I thought these deserve to be on the list of scariest moments in Star Wars. The first one is the Dagobah cave scene, the Sith cave scene in Dagobah. When Luke goes and he feels a disturbance and he goes off, and of course Yoda's like, your weapons, you need them not. And he puts them on anyway.
I mean, why not? Who wouldn't want to stab things with a laser sword?
He doesn't have his. Well, he does have his laser sword.
Yes, he does. It's in the scene.
I know, but he still carries his blaster too.
Yeah, but laser sword. Come on.
I love the look of fear. And this scene was so tense right here. As Vader emerges from the shadows, you're just like, oh shit!
Now, see, what we need to do is we need to superimpose Jason Voorhees, and instead, when you hear the breathing through the mask, instead he does that whole. Then he pulls out the machete.
Then he pulls out the machete. But that scene was probably one of the darkest scenes in Star Wars that I could remember for the longest time. And it was, for me, it was terrifying. And especially for the fact that I was little, so I didn't understand the importance of this scene, and I didn't even get the fact that that was Luke's face in Vader's mask after he cuts his head off in this scene. I didn't get that. I was only 4. I didn't get that. All I knew is this was scary and creepy, and it was just. And then Vader, and then like the way how they slow everything down, and it's all like, you plus the music, which of course I'm not. If you notice, the scenes don't have any sound to them, and I did that for a purpose, just to protect both Fuel and I from any copyright issues. But this scene was terrifying. This is probably one of the most terrifying scenes in Star Wars for me, especially as a kid. As you could tell, Fuel was very impacted by this scene as well. He's speechless.
Machete.
Mm-hmm. Machete.
Yeah, see, that's that part where the head comes off, okay, because someone finally took him out, and then they take the face mask off and realize he was a mongoloid underneath. See?
Here is Fuel turning Star Wars into a horror movie.
Okay, when you think about a lot of the horror movies could have got something from this, and vice versa. It's literally right there. It's a reference.
You do have a point.
Later, and you can see Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees, like the silent villain from a slasher movie. All he needs is a machete, or whatever the hell Mikey carries around, the butcher knife.
You got, like I said, you actually have a point. In the very first movie, when they get to the Tantive 4, and you see everybody staring at the door because there's no place else to run, and then the music starts up, and all they could do is fight. It's not that much different than Mike Myers stalking that ill-fated babysitter, or Jason going through the camp, getting ready to slaughter all the teens. The fact that Vader could choke you out with even laying a hand on you, and yet he grabs a man by the throat and squeezes until he can't breathe anymore. He
probably just like, I like to feel it in my hands. Also, he's a big gun. I mean, he can lift a dude by himself like that. Just.
Because think about it. The threat of death that runs through Star Wars, the blowing up of Alderaan, Darth Vader killing people, the princesses to be executed, poor Porkins, he dies. Poor Porkins. There's a threat of death that actually runs through Star Wars. Luke being pulled under in the trash compactor. There are a few scary moments. Luke returns home and finds his aunt and uncle burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, they shouldn't have laughed at Danny.
So maybe Star Wars isn't a sci-fi movie. Maybe it's a horror movie. And if you don't think that Darth Vader is scary, then you haven't watched the Rogue One, which is our final scary moment in Star Wars. Because I don't care who you are, if you are one of these people,
now, okay, maybe not such much as a slasher moment because they're usually silent and whatever else, and this is just full on. I'm gonna just, kill the shit out of everybody. But there's definitely some horror movie shit right there in that.
The horror movie stuff in it is definitely the horror part of it in this comes through this part here. The staring into the black void. Nothing's there. Just, something's there, but you can't see it. And then, well, I've done shit my pants. Bye.
I'm pretty sure they were wearing the khaki pants too, so it was close to brown.
And this guy, get me out of here! Help me! Please, for the love of God!
No, don't open the door.
Then they see, just take it!
Yeah,
just take it!
This is still reminiscent of a slasher movie, just not like, the Jason and Michael stuff. More like...
Right. This is Freddy Krueger having fun.
No, Freddy Krueger, because it was a dream thing. No, this is more... I was going to say something similar to the movie Hatched, for example, where, the dude just comes out and starts murdering everyone because they're right there. Limbs, bits falling, going everywhere, and it's like... Yeah, and there he is, like, waiting for the inevitable sequel.
The scene of Freddy versus Jason when Jason just goes ham in that freaking rave party.
Yeah, I suppose, that'll work.
But I know the nerd in me absolutely loves that scene. I love seeing Darth Vader totally decimate, but I can also sense the fear that the rebel forces have in this scene, because it's got that scene. If you were one of them, would have to be completely terrifying.
Well, yeah, considering they're like, open the fucking door. Get the fuck out, man.
The door's jammed. There's nothing they can do.
I just think it's funny that it's jammed right off the bat. Like, didn't we test this thing out before we got it? No. The door worked fine earlier.
They're rebels. What do you want from them?
They had a working goddamn ship. Why does this one door decide not to work now? The script. Build that suspense, even if it is only for 5 seconds.
Because those are the rules, Fuel. Those are the rules.
Oh my God. I just... Anyway.
That's just the way it has to be, dear. It just has to be that way.
That's what I was pointing out, if you were paying attention.
Mm. So, of course, we're about to wrap this up. But before we go, we have 2 more most terrifying creatures from Star Wars. First one comes from the Phantom Menace. I don't know whose idea this was that this looked good. And it's really sad because this is a puppet. This isn't CGI. And someone thought this looked good. Made him look younger.
God damn. It's like what happens when a gremlin gets some age to it.
I don't know how this was considered acceptable. This is terrifying. It doesn't look like Yoda. And the fact that you're going to make me say that the CGI, after you remastered the prequels, looks better than an actual puppet, makes this one of the most terrifying things I have ever seen.
Mm.
When you make me choose CGI, that's how terrifying this is.
And that's just the first one, wasn't there all?
There's one more. And this one comes to us, again, thanks to George Lucas.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right. I know what it is now.
Because he thought this was acceptable to put on the big screen when he decided to do the special edition of Star Wars. And this is from the people of Industrial Light and Magic, the people who just give us some of the most gorgeous special effects in the world. We get this abomination.
We can't job at the saddest motherfucking toad ever. Look at that
What?
face. He's gonna cry.
And this was considered acceptable. And they put this in the movie theaters in 1997.
Mm.
1997. Now, let me explain this to you. Jurassic Park came out in 1993.
Terminator 2 came out in 91.
This is 1997. Ew.
I don't know. His nose is a bit off too.
It's horrible. It's disgusting.
And she doesn't want to meet in a dark alley. Apparently.
This is 1997. This is 1999. What is the matter with you people? No.
They said, man, this scares easy. If it's not spiders, it's CG.
No. It's taking something and putting shit into it. Terrifying.
Yes.
Ugh. Seriously, that stuff was just horrible. And if that doesn't scare you, just remember the ET species also lives within the Star Wars universe.
Oh, damn.
But so that is our look at some of the scariest scenes and creatures from Star Wars.
And Amanda's pet peeves of CG and crap puppets.
Those are terrifying looking. Those things haunt people in their sleep.
You didn't put on the evil brow and the beady red eyes.
Oh my god. I don't need to. It's scary enough. Besides, it's in the thumbnail.
You secret about to laugh at it. Anyway.
It's in the thumbnail.
But the evil brow isn't there. Anyway,
I couldn't find one that worked. Get over it.
Just draw it on.
I'm a talker, not a drawer. So I know you're not normal and nothing really scares you. But out of all of this, which one would you say was the creepiest creature?
The only thing that was like literally creepy would have to be the eyeball thing with tentacles, because it hides the fucking sewers. Everything else is literally like it's a giant worm or it's a giant dragon, which is also a worm.
The Dino God.
97-meter thing, which is also giant, with 3 arms and a couple of tails and the back slapper.
So is it the fact that it lives in the sewers or the fact that people eat it like it's a delicacy, that something that lives in the sewers?
Those things are creepy because it hides out in the sewers, which would be a dark place. Everything else is literally like, hey, I'm going to come out here and vomit all over you because you're in my space. Or you fell into a hole. Oh, no, wait, it's something down here with a giant ass for a fucking mouth with teeth.
And what do you, out of all the scenes that we watch, what would you say would be the creepiest or the scariest?
Okay, well, out of the creepy scenes, I suppose, with a bit of modification, the Fear Dungeon that was on Dagobah, yeah.
The Sith Cave? Yeah, I can see that.
If they liked hanging out in the swampy sort of place. Yeah.
Well,
Kind
for
of
me,
makes you wonder why there's a Sith cave on the planet where Yoda decides to go fucking hang out in. You know. Oh, I thought I'd just keep watching in case some baddies decide to drop in. Yeah.
well, I have to agree. For
They're
me,
efficient.
yeah, it's the Sith cave on Dagobah is still the creepiest scene within the Star Wars universe. But you should already know which one's my pick for creepiest creature.
The Yoda Muppet.
That and the ice spiders.
Oh, there's spiders. Oh, no.
Lake spiders are gross.
And you can't shoot them either. Oh, poor Amanda.
Burn them all to hell. I don't like them. They're gross.
It's
Get rid of
probably that cold there that the flamethrower would just get bunged up and it wouldn't work.
Just ew, super creepy. And no, I don't do spiders. I don't do space spiders. I don't do fake spiders. My boss actually the other day figured out that I don't do itty bitty spiders. 3 people couldn't find the spider that I'm trying to hide from at work the other day. I'm like, it's right there. It was smaller.
Like that elusive Star Destroyer you said the other day in that fucking game.
You finally saw it, you idiot.
It was there one time out of like 6 that you pointed
It
out.
was always there. Just because you're blind. No.
It's just because you're afraid of things that don't exist.
Blah, 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 blah. And speaking of blah, 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 blahs, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We do greatly appreciate it. Next week, we're already working on what we're going to bring you, so make sure that you stay tuned. And to make sure that you're always following on what we're going on, make sure that if you're over here on the AGP channel, you're following Fuel over on his Twitch account, which is Fuel the Hatred. Check him out over on YouTube, and definitely check him out on TikTok. And he's also over on Twitter at Fuel Hatred. And if you need more AGP in your life, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, and of course, YouTube as well. We both thank you guys so much for joining us for our special Star Wars edition version of the Dark Descent into Horror. And we hope to see you all on the next one. Say bye, Fuel.
Why would I say bye to myself?
Oh my god, I hate you.
Send Amanda spiders, like all of them, please. Do it.
You want to scare Fuel? Send him rainbows and happiness.
That is.
No, go ahead, say it. Say it. Say it.
That wouldn't work. Useless effort. Send her spiders.
There is something out there that scares you. And I will find it. So help me fucking God.
Ignore her. Send her the spiders.
No.
Yep.
We are on a quest to find your fear. Now it's time to go.
Send her the damn spiders. Deal with it.
Shut up, Fuel.
And a packet of sauce.
Help me.
I am. Wait.